it to see what's inside the box. Hello everyone, welcome back to English for Career Session 3. So in this session, we're going to talk about self-reflection. It's the way to know yourself. Let's try to remember that there are 4 easy steps to create your personal branding. Those are self-reflection, activating, communicating and promoting, and the last one is maintaining. Let's focus on self-reflection. As we have known before, that self-reflection is an effort to get to know more about ourselves. By doing self-reflection, you're able to define your life value, define your passion, and of course visualize your dream. And doing self-reflection allows you to define your own strengths. Actually, how's a technical way to do the self-reflection? Some questions can appear from us to ask ourselves about what's your life goals? And how do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And then what are your strengths and weaknesses? Those 3 most common used to define yourself is usually being asked by ourselves when we want to know our identity. What's your life goal? Let's say you wanted to have a beneficial or you want to have a contribution for the community. You are focusing on the world of education, let's say. And then you want to contribute for the development of education. And then move on to the next question. How do you see yourself in the next 5 or 3 years? You try to visualize yourself like, maybe I'm seeing myself as becoming a manager in one of an educational institutions. I'm working together with other team to realize some projects in some suburban places, let's say, to create a development of education in my country, in Indonesia. And the next question, then if I visualize myself as one of the influential person in education field, what are the strengths that I can give to realize this? That's a big question. What are your strengths and weaknesses? This particular question can be answered by identifying skills. So the next questions, what's identifying skills? Identifying skills is we try to get to know ourselves, that the skill is an ability to perform an activity in a competent manner. We usually have 3 main types of the skills. Even you can still find another type of skills out there. But usually we have 3 main skills that we can show to other people as our identity. The first thing is transferable functional skills, personal traits or attitude skill, and knowledge-based skills. Let's try to elaborate it one by one. Well, in your transferable or functional skill, it's an actions or it's the skills to support the action taken to perform a task. The transferable or functional skill is transferable skill that you can use in different work functions or industries. For example, you know that you have this transferable skill. You work in company A and then you move to company B. This transferable skill can be used even you move from one company to another. And transferable or functional skills is usually expressed in verbs. For example, organize, promote, analyze, write, manage, teach, and so on. You can find so many verbs that can reflect transferable or functional skills. Once again, transferable or functional skill is the skill that you can use everywhere you are. Even you move from a company to another company, or you move from one industry to another industry. And it's usually in the form of verb. Let's move on to the second type of skill. The second type of skill is personal trait or attitude skill. This skill is related to your personality characteristic that contribute to performing work. It's usually the skills that attach in you since your childhood and develop throughout your life experiences. These personal trait or attitude skills is usually expressed in adjectives. For example, patient, diplomatic, result-oriented, independent, diligent, and so on. You can find so many adjective words that it consists or it's contained into the personality traits or attitudes. Once again, personality traits or attitude skills is personality characteristics that attach in you. It's your identity, and it usually appear since your childhood and develop throughout your life experiences. And it's usually in the form of adjective. Now let's move on to the third type of skill. The third type of skill is knowledge-based skill. Knowledge-based skills is usually the skills that you gained or you got from your specific experiences like education, like training, information you got from anywhere. It's knowledge-based skills. This knowledge-based skills, sometimes we called it as like our credibility in professional. Because you got your knowledge-based skills from education, training, and maybe on-the-job experiences. Knowledge-based skills usually expressed in noun. For example, personal administration, contract management, accounting, programming, UI/UX design, educational research, method, and so on. So knowledge-based skills is the knowledge you got from educational or training. Once again, knowledge-based skills is the skills that you gain from your experience, from education, training, or on-the-job experience. And it's usually expressed in nouns. Well, that's the three types of skills that we can classify to identify ourselves. So we have known three types of skills that we can try or we can do to dig out what our personality, which consists of functional or technical skills, personality trait skills, and also knowledge-based skills. As you have already known three types of skills, and now it's time for you to share with us by joining the forum time. Again, return to your LMS and click the discussion forum space, and you have to answer your perception or your arguments related to the question. The question is, tell us your 5 strengths and 5 weaknesses. All right, so we're looking forward to your contribution in the forum or discussion forum session. Have a nice day. So welcome back to the English for Career course. This is still our day 1 sessions. Now we're going to see the pyramid of self-reflection activity to get to know yourself. All right, so let's start with the first one. You know that the first thing that you have to do in order to be able to create like the pyramid at or the final things that we want to know ourselves is self-knowledge. Try to analyze your values, strengths, and talents, as well as your passions. Ask yourself, what are your values? What are your strengths, talents, and what the things make you happy? It's a passion. You can ask yourself, what's your vision? What's your values of life? And also your strengths. And then, next, You can also do the personal objectives. What is personal objectives? Personal objectives is the goals of life that you want to achieve. It's like, what are your top goals for the next 5 years, 2 years, 3 years? It should be measurable. It should be the things that you have planned. Like, for example, next year, you plan to be graduated from this university and then got a job and then do the things in your job. And the next 2 years after, you plan to be a manager in that company. Okay, and then the third year of your working there, you plan to get promoted. Fourth year, you plan to create your own business, and the fifth years, you plan to develop your own business, let's say. So you should have your personal objectives. The next step is audience. Try to ask yourself, where do you want to work? What kind of job position you want to have? What kind of industry you want to get involved? Who is your competition in the marketplace? Your friends? Other graduates? Other graduates from other companies? From other universities, I mean? And then try to ask yourself, who must know about you? For me, for example, since I work in the educational sector, so I decide my audience supposed to be the people in the industry, in education institutions. Next, you have to make sure that you ask yourself about best self. It's like, what are your top brand attributes? If you're good at programming, if you're good at UI UX, if you're good at accounting, so you should say that your top brand is good at that skills. And then try to mention 3 adjectives best describe the value you offer. Let's say you are passionate about the programming. You are a good organizing personality, let's say. And the next question about best self, or the best thing that you have, is what differentiates you from similar others. We know that people or graduates from informatics, for example, there are so many graduates or students who graduates from informatics major. But what makes you stand out? What makes you different from other people? You should answer this question. And then, what would you like to do as a self-promotion? What strategies? What kind of social media you would like to use? Is it Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and then Instagram maybe? Or maybe you would like to join some international conferences to promote yourself. What strategy you would like to? And the last, of course, personal brand. What is your reputation and promise of value? It means when you have known yourself, you have known your strengths, you have known your goals, you have known who should know you and what best version of you that you can offer to other people, of course, and then you use the social media as good as possible. Finally, you can know who you are, and with this concept, people can know who you are as well. All right, so now I want you to practice using this pyramid scheme to create your own template of your personal or your self-reflection. Try to answer those questions, those 6 questions regarding to your knowledge about yourself. You can start by answering your self-knowledge or the knowledge about yourself, which consists of values, strengths, talents, and passions. And the next, you can try to ask yourself about personal objectives or what do you want to have in your life, right? And then try to decide which audience, what kind of audience, who is your audience, who do you want to be known by? And then try to dig out about your best self or the best version of yourself, and then how the strategy that you want to promote yourself, what kind of social media you would like to use to promote yourself. Last but not least, of course, the personal brand. Try to define who you are. Well, you can find the self-reflection in the worksheet. But before, we would like to invite you to have a personality test. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, on your screen, you can see a personality test from www.3t.com. It is free, but if you want to have a complete one, you should pay for some amount of payment. But you still can try to have a personality test even the result is not completely shown to you. Okay, so there's so many tests inside of this website. You can find your MBTI test, which consists of 16 personalities based on the Myers-Briggs identity or identify test. You can find it there as well, and you can also try the career aptitude test. But for this time, we would like to invite you to use this website to practice your 16 personalities. Try to find it, try to see yourself based on this application test. And the next thing that we would like to invite all of you is to do the worksheet. Now, we would like to invite all of you to return to your LMS and find the worksheet 1. This is the first assignment that you have to accomplish, and it covers 5% of your CLO1 score. You have to join and you have to fill in part A of part 1, part 2, and part T, all of the LMS session. Try to fill it and resubmit it into the LMS. Remember, once again, this worksheet is covering your 5% of your CLO1 score. Well, we have discussed so many things today. So now it's the time for us to recap. There's so many things that we have done today. There are 8 points. The first one, we have talked about course overview, and also we have filled in the survey about students' need. And then we have also discussed about personal branding introduction, which consists of what is personal branding, why personal branding is important, and then 4 easy steps to do the personal branding. And then after that, we also have done with the quiz and move on to the personal branding, know yourself, which we try to dig out about identifying skills, which consists of 3 skills: functional skills, personal trait skills, and knowledge-based skills. I hope you still remember that point. And then you also have contributed your argument into discussion forum. And then you have tried to do the self-reflection pyramid practice. Last but not least, you have done with the personality test and worksheet 1 assignment. Those all activities that we have for today. Thank you so much. But before ending this video, please allow me to show you this quotation from Aristotle. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all your wisdom. It's always is the key of knowing yourself that direct you to what you actually want in your life. So, know yourself, brand yourself. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for today's, and hopefully to see you all again next week about personal branding in written practice. Have a nice day. Bye.